What needs to change is perception. Perception that black neighborhoods are not great locations for coffee shops, roasteries, etc. Black History Month this year feels different, but in a good way. So much so that there are so many more spaces held for Black people to celebrate Black culture. And not just Black people, people from outside the community as well. The history and the relationship between this country and the Black community is well documented. And if there ever is to be any true reconciliation, it should at least start with the collective celebration of the contributions we've made to this country. Once that happens, I at least think that's a step in the right direction. As a Black leader in business, I'm motivated by the opportunities that exist for tomorrow's generation, given this Black business renaissance. I think about often what would movements like Black Wall Street, the impact it would have had if it weren't so abruptly interrupted. So since we are encouraged to only ask hypotheticals, I'm really motivated to take the opportunity that my company currently has with hopes that the next generation uses the information to leapfrog beyond conventional expectations. What excites me about inclusion business is twofold. On one hand, employees get to show up to work as their full selves, and that ultimately leads to higher work productivity and just a better workplace environment. And on the vendor side, businesses that otherwise wouldn't have been in consideration for certain contracts or partnerships are now engaged in those conversations given the shift in prioritizing diversity, equity, and inclusion. In terms of diversity, equity, and inclusion in the coffee industry, what needs to change is perception. Perception that Black neighborhoods are not great locations for coffee shops, roasteries, etc. Perception that Black people can only have certain positions within the coffee industry. Perception that Black people aren't expected to frequent certain coffee shops. What's largely ironic about this is coffee is widely considered to be discovered by Africans, and like many industries centered on resources from the motherland, we find ourselves largely on the outside looking in. That has to change.